Tell you what, though, this week, Crispy, I've got the plan for the intro gag.
Oh, do tell.
Well, it's not so much a gag as much a tease. I'm feeling evil this week. You know the guest that we were talking about bringing on. You know the person who's like, we should reach out to this guy and we have a plan. He's come back to me and he said that he's happy to be on the podcast at the time we agreed.
Oh, excellent! At the time we agreed.
At the time we agreed, yeah, because we have a plan. We've got a guest and we had a plan for when he was going to come on, and he's agreed to both. So
excellent
It's
news.
a very good, it's a very cool thing. Yeah, excellent news, very very excellent. And that's how naughty we're being. We're teasing you this week. We're teasing you. Do we know who the guest is? Can you tease who the guest is this week, Crispy?
I don't want to say much, but it's the Late Late Show.
Is it James Corden? Are we having a James Corden special guest?
I don't know. I can't tell.
That's enough. It's too much of a scoop. Too much of a scoop. Oh, roll the intro. Roll the intro. Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast, the show where two YouTubers get together and talk about Doctor Who. I'm your host, Troy, also known as Red Arch Live, and with me is my Australian co-host, the man who's responsible for us now recording this for a second time. It's Crispy Pro. How you doing, buddy?
I am so good. How are you, Troy?
We've been on the phone now for about 2 hours and we're just starting with the recording.
Oh, dearie.
It's a fun time.
Dearie.
It's a fun time. Do you know what's really funny is that I've made jokes continuously through us recording this podcast of, oh no, I wasn't recording. And Crispy goes, oh no, you're joking. I'm like, no, I'm not recording. Obviously always been a joke to try and get a reaction out of him because it's funny. This time though, we're 40 minutes into recording the episode that we're now re-recording and he goes, oh, I've been recording your side of the audio as well as mine, which might not sound like a big thing, but when we edit this podcast, we record our own sides of the audio and I put them together, level them out. If you record both sides on one recording, it often mutes each other's tracks when someone's talking. So if we overlap or say, oh yeah, this sounds like a good thing or whatever, it screws it. So it's better to just go with like individual audio. So once he said that, I was like, right, I'm gonna go get something to eat and we're gonna go again. So here we are.
And
I've had a lovely Jaffa Cake bar. I've got my energy back, and we're here to dive right back into it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Here we are.
It's a great time.
Let's do it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with episode 14. So we've got a couple of things to talk about before we get into the episode. First off, the podcast is now on 2 new platforms. Exciting, I know. I was hanging out with a friend on Monday night, and I told her about the Doctor Who podcast, and she said, "Is it on Deezer?" I was like, "That's a good question." It's actually not on Deezer. You didn't even know what Deezer was, did you, when I put the podcast on there?
Deezer, I barely know her.
Oh, I really don't want to be here doing this again with more of your bad jokes.
So
more of your another hour of your humour is going to kill me off.
The first time we did it, I had a whole hour to think of that joke.
I just realised I made a great joke about pavements in the last recording, and that's lost to the ether now.
It's gone.
Oh,
forever and ever and ever.
I'm so upset. About pavements as well, you think, what's he talking about? It was Love and Monsters related. You can get the point.
You'll understand.
You'll understand. But it's now on Deezer and Stitcher. So if those are your preferred audio platforms for a podcast, you can switch over there now and listen to the podcast there. Very epic. Unfortunately, all audio. Spotify is still the only platform to have video podcasts on there. Hopefully, all the jokes I make for Apple, but hopefully like every other platform will start incorporating video at some point. Because on our hosting platform, it renders it as a video and just sends it as a video to wherever is applicable, which right now is just Spotify. Hopefully more platforms will allow it soon. So you can see our lovely mugs as we're talking, you know? Be a great time. And also, thank you very much in advance, hopefully, for 1,000 views on episode 12, the Shooting Gatwa episode.
Gosh.
997 views. We're so close to 1,000.
The
very first 1,000.
Come on.
Yes. 3 people. You know, 3 people to view it on YouTube. That's all we ask. Okay?
That's all we ask. 3 of you.
But no, we're really going from strength to strength on YouTube. I mean, the latest episode has like 800 views. So like very, very quickly it's become like the second biggest episode of the podcast. Yeah. As of right now, I'll just get the specific number. 801.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
I think it's our second biggest episode, because I think episode 1, if I just check, episode 1 has 716 views, and the next one after that is episode 9, the Sea Devils one, with 683. So yeah, it is far and above second best episode, and Shooty Gat was the top one right now. So
is this what fame feels like?
Search on WikiHow, how to handle fame, you know? How to handle fame.
I don't know.
I love that meme. I love that meme so much. It's just a picture of a guy looking in the mirror and just says how to handle fame. It's beautiful. It's honestly beautiful. So thank you for all the love and support there. We do appreciate it. So today's episode, we are talking about our favourite episodes of Doctor Who. It actually might be better to re-record this because there was a lot of rambling, especially on my part. I couldn't really decide on favourite episodes.
Nail down an episode, son.
Well, I'm not guaranteeing that, but just hopefully less kind of erratic
That's
thinking.
fine.
You're just like, I don't know which episode do I pick. You get the idea. So before we get into it, we've got a poll, and we're going to announce the Q&A for next week, as we always do. So this week, the poll we had for episode 13 going to 14 was going to be, do you think Rachel Talalay is directing the 6th anniversary? Which I've just realised we actually didn't mention in the last recording, so we're actually improving for our mistakes, which is quite impressive. Quite impressive, that. But while I was editing the podcast, it had already been announced by that point that Rachel Talalay was indeed directing the 60th. So I took that bit out of the episode and then went, well, the thing I thought was going to be the poll is no longer the poll. So I did a question for a managerial thing for Spotify listeners. And I asked, as more leaks come out for the 60th anniversary and beyond, how much do you actually want to hear us talk about? Where's the line that you draw in the sand for how much we cover here? How many spoilers do you want? The options were, please avoid leaks wherever possible, or give warnings if you have to mention one. It was set leaks, photos are fine, but no plot leaks, no story details, we don't know more about those, or anything and everything that leaks. Anything at all, you can talk about it. They were the three options. Nobody voted for avoid all leaks, interestingly enough. I know that doesn't necessarily mean that all of you believe that, because there'll be some people out there who didn't vote who probably don't want us to talk about leaks. We'll still give warnings, don't worry, like this upcoming news segment for set photos. But we have 54% went for set leaks, photos are fine, and 46% said anything and everything that leaks. And I think you and I are kind of in a similar ground. We're in the middle. You know, I personally prefer the photos. So. I don't want to know plot details. You know, the whole point of this is that I'm a fan of Doctor Who. I don't want to go into it knowing what's happening.
Knowing
that takes
exactly
half the fun
what's
out.
going to happen. Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though Twitter has managed to spoil quite a bit for me already, but that's
you've
okay.
done to be fair, you've done a few videos dedicated to leaks that you've come across. Like, how much of that was by accident? How much of that did you actually seek out?
Well, that's the thing. With those videos, those leaks is like quite a broad term for those ones, but I did see like specific.
He's telling you he clickbaited. That's what he's trying to say.
I'm not trying to say that, but some
Clicky Pro. It's Clicky Pro.
Clicky Pro. But
that's great. That's going to be a new insult now. Hashtag Clicky Pro.
Whenever I do like a clickbaity title, not that I do them.
Never at all. No, never.
But no, the ones that I did see were like specific things that people heard on set and kind of made assumptions about and kind of like pieced together exactly what the scene was. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't be reading this. Like, this is like too much. Like, I'm all for people theorizing, and they may have seen like this person on set, kind of put two and two together, kind of guessing that, you know, like, I don't know, it's going to be a Christmas special or whatever. Like, those are the kind of leaks that I'll get behind. But if there's like specific word for word dialogue, I don't know. Not really for me, mate.
Yeah, we'll get into some rumours in a minute, but these are rumours, and if they have been confirmed by any leaks, we don't know for sure, and we don't want to know. Like, the discussion's nice. It's nice to have these theories based on set photos where you think you might know what's going to happen. It's like watching Spider-Man No Way Home. We all thought Andrew Garfield was going to be in the film. It's one thing being pretty sure he's going to be in it. It's another thing being told he's in it. You know what I mean? Like, you might have an idea of what's going to happen, but you don't want it to be confirmed. You want him to be surprised at least a little bit, you know? Which I wasn't for Andrew Garfield, because YouTube recommended is not very nice, but...
Really? Andrew Garfield got spoiled for you. That's rough.
Yeah, it was not good. It just basically went on YouTube recommended at one point. Oh, it literally boosted the YouTube app, and when you boot up the YouTube app on your phone, it takes you straight to the homepage with some recommendations.
Yeah.
And it was a clip with Andrew Garfield in the thumbnail, and it said, Spider-Man No Way Home web shooter scene, and... it now auto plays. So not only was that, I think I also saw Toby for like a split second and went, oh, great.
Right.
Okay,
awesome.
so I know that's happening now, but
yeah.
Oh well, anyway, it is what it is. So, before we get into our main topic today and our news, just very quickly, next week, we're going to be talking about Series 2 of Doctor Who. We're continuing our Looking Back On series. So we want, in the Q&A this time for Spotify, for you to let us know what your favourite part, episode, character, story beat, whatever, of Series 2 is. Let us know all of your favourite parts down below. And if you want to let us know about things you didn't like as much, feel free to. I know that there'll be 2 episodes in particular people will pick on, one of which I'll be defending until my dying breath, bar the one scene, which is where the joke came in. There's where this really funny joke came in. Because I was like, hopefully I won't be chasing pavements when we're talking about it, and you found it ridiculously funny.
And I laughed,
You squealed. Like, it was very funny.
Now it's lost to the ether. But you know what?
Now I've explained the joke, and it's no longer funny.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Very sad moment.
Love and Monster
very, very
stands, baby.
Yes. So let us know what you think of Series 2 in general in the Spotify Q&A. If you're listening on a different platform or watching, feel free to head over to Spotify just to answer in the Q&A. It's not really something I've said before, but just because you're not listening on Spotify doesn't mean you don't have to put your thoughts in there. We do obviously read YouTube comments sometimes, but the Q&A on Spotify is where we kind of go for our answers for quick and easy access, because it's on our hosting platform. We can get it up nice and easy and fish through the answer really quickly, pin them. So if you're listening on a different audio platform, you can slide over to Spotify and just slap a Q&A answer in.
Give it a go.
Ahead and do it. Yeah, and vote on the poll. Vote in the poll, Go give us some answers on the poll. So obviously there'll be a poll as well this week. We don't know what it's about because I just pick it out as a renting. So vote in the poll, people. Give your answer to whatever it is. It's very cool. It'll be a great poll, no doubt. So, Crispy,
pretty please. Yes,
what should we start with today? What news have we got to talk about?
Look, mate, we've got a little bit of news from last time that we did not talk about because we finished recording with Dom, and then, oh boy, there's heaps of other news.
Yes.
So we did talk about the fact that Yasmin Finney was announced to be playing a character called Rose, but we had not seen her on set yet. However, my friend, that has changed. She was on set with what seems to be the entire Noble clan. We had Sylvia back. We had Wilf back.
The clan,
we
I
had,
love it.
We had Shaun Temple back. We had the whole crew. So it was all very exciting, and that was in London. Where'd you say, Camden?
Camden, which is a district of London, and that is important that we mention that because it will come back in a minute as to mentioning that Camden is indeed in London, so please keep that in mind. But yes, there were a few set photos, and one thing I'll say is I might occasionally put set photos up on screen, and if I do, and there's no credit on them with like an at or something for who took them, and you know who took them, let us know, please, so I can put some credit on the YouTube version or the description or something, because a lot of these were shared around randomly by people on Twitter. I literally made a thread in my own Discord server to post all the set photos I saw. Very few of them have credits in them. So whoever they belong to, if you know, let us know, and we'll give you some credit. So just a little bit of a shout out there to whoever is responsible. Please don't abuse that, obviously, but I don't really need to say that. Someone goes, that's my photo, and I go, thanks very much to AbsorbLoftFan69 for taking this photo. Really appreciate it.
I really hope that account exists. I think that account would have to exist.
You've dabbled with photographers. Now meet the genuine article. I've made that joke in a few weeks, so we're back.
It was nice. I'm glad.
We're done. How's Paul doing? We got to remember our recurring bits. How's Paul?
Paul, he was actually in Camden.
Was he?
He didn't take any photos, but he did do a sneaky little video of the set. So he was very in trouble. He got in trouble from the people there at the BBC.
Did he?
So, hey,
did he get the video to you first, though?
He did. And I don't want to say what's in it, but it's funny that you mentioned the Absorbaloff. I don't want to say the Absorbaloff's back for the 60th, but
you've dabbled with set leaks. Now meet the genuine article. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, that beats the pavement joke. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. He's literally off camera crying with laughter right now for the audio listeners.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. Okay. It's not that funny. Oh, boy.
Clearly was.
Far
Wow,
out. That was
great.
good. Thank you. That's made my
I'm just
day.
such a funny person. I should do stand-up. But yeah, so there are set photos we can talk about very briefly. We're going to cover this quick because there's a few things we need to talk about, and I want to make sure we talk about our favourite episodes.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't even know what time we started recording. I don't even know how far into the episode we are. Is it 10 minutes?
Let's just keep it going.
I don't know.
Podcast with a plan, baby.
So
let's do it.
There were photos with David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Jacqueline King, who plays Sylvia Noble, not Bernard Cribbins was in that shot, but Carl Collins, who plays Shaun, Yasmin Finney playing Rose, all together. So the current theory right now is that Yasmin Finney, playing the character of Rose, is Donna and Shaun's daughter.
Oh, but how likely is that? How likely is that, Troy?
You're asking me that, but you already have an opinion. What is your opinion, Mr. Pro?
I am of the opinion that 100% she is.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
Is the daughter.
Throwing over some mystery to me, but we both are completely convinced.
Yeah.
The only
so
question is the question of age. Because people have been saying there was a casting call. It might not have been for that role, but everyone thinks it was. I think there was some evidence maybe on it to prove it. I didn't read it in full detail. But apparently the part they were calling for Yasmin Finney was a 15-year-old character that she's playing. I don't actually... How old is Yasmin Finney? I'm just look this up real quick.
I'm going to say
Yasmin
18.
Finney? She is 18 years old. There you go.
I was about to say, I'm pretty...
So could play a 15-year-old.
Sure Yasmin's very young.
The Sergej Adventures cast were not the age of the characters they were playing. Let's be realistic here. When you think about it, Rani's actress, I can't remember her full name, but she's like 30 now. So which makes me feel old, realistically. I mean, I had a shock when I found out Mandip Gill was in her mid-30s. I couldn't believe that. I was like, you look like 23. What's going on? She looks like my age. And I was like, what? I was baffled by that. Yeah.
What's her moisturizer?
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one point I made in the previous recording that blew Crispy's mind, so I want to mention it again, is that present day Doctor Who doesn't always have to be in present day. So in case people don't quite realise the timelines for the 11th hour, the 11th Doctor doesn't crash in Amelia's backyard until 1996.
Yeah,
this is wild. If you think about it, he crashes in the back garden. Then there's 12 years until the stuff with the Atraxi. And then after that, there's 2 years when he comes back and picks her up and they go off on the Series 5 adventures. And obviously, present day for that series is 2010. We know that because Pandorica opens, the cracks, the big issue was the 26th of June 2010. So technically, the start of 11th Hour is in 1996, the Atraxi stuff is in 2008, the Series 4 era, and then we go into 2010 for the rest of the series for modern day stuff.
Blew my mind.
Genuinely. So modern day
mind.
Doctor Who doesn't have to necessarily be in that current year. So it could be a 15-year-old character. If that's the case, though, Donovan and Shaun got married Christmas 2009. Maybe Donna's pregnant then and we just don't know. But either way, if it's mid-2023, might be Christmas because there's some adverts on the set for like Christmas events. So it could be Christmas 2023 or Christmas 2022. Whatever. It pins Rose's character, if it's present day, to like 13-ish years old, which means it wouldn't quite line up. So I think the most likely thing is it'll be set a few years in the future, maybe, just to kind of account for that. Because I just think, like, she has to be Donna and Shaun's daughter. I don't see another way of it being that, you know what I mean?
It 100% is. Like, I don't know. And it's a kind of a nice thing, and there's, like, a theory, like, leading into that. Like, she named Rose that because she just kind of remembered this strange figure in the back of her brain, and that would be like a beautiful thing. And I feel like that's very much a Russell T Davies like little wink nod thing to be like, you know,
which was done before
with
End of Time, if you remember, the book of Joshua Naismith that she gave Will for Christmas. And then he showed the 10th Doctor. He was like, Donna bought me this, and he was like, what? And he said to her, why have you bought me this? She went, don't know, just looks like the kind of thing you might want to see it. And the 10th Doctor picked up and went, she's still fighting. You know,
we're
like
cooking.
You know what I mean? So you could say she reaches back without realizing it. It's possible. So I think it makes sense.
I love that.
Not the only thing to talk about, though. We've got a few other things, and I want to make sure we have time to move on to other stuff.
Yes, sorry. We do a few other things.
Rachel Talalay, confirmed as director.
Confirmed.
I've got to mention that before we forget. Literally, the day after she said, no cap, I'm not directing, she was like, no, I am directing. She did 2 hearts and a clapperboard. And then she went, and the best thing I thought, and I tweeted this out and I got like 700 likes, which is, you know, how to handle Twitter fame.
Oh my gosh, what?
She said in her tweet, she was like, I promise I did not lie/fib/Andrew Garfield like yesterday. I wasn't directing yesterday, I just am today going forward. And it was like, fair. And I just love that she used Andrew Garfield as a verb. I thought that was so funny. That is
a verb now, 100%. Yeah,
it's great.
Forever.
Just starts doing the laugh he did about then the autocorrect, just the hee. We've seen all the videos on TikTok of that, of people making videos out of the heat. Someone's done a Doctor Who theme for that. It's brilliant. So Rachel Talalay, director of Heaven Sent, World of Different Time, Doctor Falls, Twice Upon a Time, Dark Water, Death in Heaven, Hellbent. I think that's all of her directing. She's directing the 60th. Best choice. Best director in New Who.
She directed a bit of Riverdale. Did you know that?
But the show that everyone wants to end about 3 seasons ago is finally ending at series 7.
But yeah, no, she's 100%. I think she's my probably one of my favorite directors. Like Heaven Sent, just as is probably one of the best directed pieces of Doctor Who media I have probably ever seen. So anyway, yes, so glad she's back. Welcome back.
We then have the new Sonic Screwdriver, which David Tennant has been seen on set kind of posing around with, next to Yasmin Finney, interestingly. So maybe there's a section where 10/14, we'll get there in a second, and Catherine, Donna having their own adventure, because there's a scene of them getting the TARDIS while Sylvia, Shaun, and Yaz watch them do it. Sylvia, Shaun, and Rose, sorry, I keep getting confused. I can't see, the problem with saying Yaz is we're obviously talking about Yasmin Finney, but people might think of Mandu Gill when you say it. It's like, my brain. Okay, so if I say Yaz this episode, unless we're talking about Jodie episodes, it's about Yasmin Finney. Yes. But then this separate photo of David with the Sonic was next to Yasmin Finney, and Catherine Tate was nowhere to be seen. So maybe there's different bits with different companions in this, which is kind of cool. But what do you think of the new Sonic? We'll put a picture on screen that was seen on set, and it almost looks like a real promo photo if it was in better quality. He's almost looking at the camera that snapped him. It's brilliant.
It's wild. Whoever got that, if it's Absorbable or Fan 69 or whoever, well done. That's a brilliant shot.
Stop.
An incredible shot.
Hang on. I'm going to blow your mind. Absorbable Fan 69 is Paul.
Stop.
There you go.
Stop.
There you go.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, the Sonic looks brilliant. We had to talk about that very briefly.
It's got some weird little prong things up the top. Yeah.
Yes, that looks brilliant. I'm just trying to bring us through this because I don't want to...
let's power through. Let's power through.
I feel like we're recording it better this time, but we're also trying to be time conscious, you know? We could do longer episodes, but... You know, man. You know, we want it to be put to the point.
We do what we do.
If it's like the Redcast, we'd be here for like nearly 2 hours, and no one can tolerate us for 2 hours a week. That'd be too much.
But if you want a 2 hour episode with both of us, go and check out my episode from 2 years ago where we talk all things Doctor Who.
Go do it. Go do it, yeah. You know, but for this, you know, as a great TV show once said, that's too much, man.
What's that from?
Do you not know?
No.
BoJack Horseman, dude. BoJack Horseman.
Oh, I still haven't finished that.
That's too much, man.
I've been meaning to. I've been meaning to finish.
You've never
that.
seen it?
No,
Phenomenal TV show.
I have seen it.
Phenomenal.
I haven't finished it because I know I'm going to be so sad. And I'm going to be so sad when it finished. I was like, I felt it building up, and I was like, I don't know. I don't think I was in the right headspace, so I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to be too sad right now.
Yeah, one of the last episodes is genuinely like I was crying my eyes out watching it.
Oh, jeez.
Like for an animated show, like you wouldn't believe it to deal with the stuff that it does. Like just watch BoJack Horseman.
Beautiful. It is beautiful.
Content warning for the younger amongst you. It is a bit more of a mature show.
Oh, 100%.
But it is like if you're of age, it's phenomenal, and you should definitely watch it. Yeah.
Screw it. Let's not talk about our favorite episodes of Doctor Who. Let's talk about our favorite episodes of BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
Just for the next little bit. No, I'm kidding. We need to get through this news. So yes, Georgia Tennant. That's what we're going to get to. She posted a thing on Instagram, like joking that she was leaving her kids to go and film in London, and has since put pictures up of her on a train to London, because she used like a Spotify song that said headed to London or something. Pictures of boots, of leather pants and combat tops and this kind of thing. Very much the kind of clothes she wore on set as Jenny in Series 4 underrated gem, The Doctor's Daughter. How peculiar.
What do we think? Is Jenny coming back, Crispy? What are our thoughts?
Well, look, here's the thing. I see 3 possible scenarios happening right now, okay? Okay, I want you to hear me out here, Troy. First scenario. You did say she was going to London. And what's happening in London right now? What was that? Sorry, I'm just a bit
They're filming the
confused.
6th anniversary in Camden in London.
So it could be part of the 60th somehow. Maybe it's a brief cameo. Who knows? Number 2, one that I thought was quite likely, would be perhaps a Big Finish photo shoot or something like that. I don't know. A Big Finish trailer. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that. And number 3, and one that everyone's just wanting to happen, that I didn't mention in the previous recording, but Russell T Davies has said multiple times that he kind of imagines doing like a few more spin-offs for the show, and people think, oh my god, this is the start of a Doctor Who spin-off. They're going to bring Jenny back. It's a Doctor Who spin-off. It's happening. Cool. So I don't know. I feel like if they're going to announce a spin-off or announce if she was in the 60th, they would kind of do like, you know, the whole emoji thing or kind of make a bigger deal out of it. I don't know. A cryptic Instagram post with that, I feel like it has to be Doctor Who related because it literally is the 3 items of clothing that are iconic to Jenny. I feel like it has to be Jenny related, but I just don't know if it is going to be in the main line of the show, a spin-off, or who knows, maybe she's just doing fancy dress. I don't know.
They could school reunion it. She could come back for the 60th, and then if there's enough demand, they could then backdoor a spin-off, like they did with Sarah Jane Adventures, you know?
I'd be down for that. I'd be 100% down for that.
As would I. That'd be brilliant. So maybe she's coming back. We don't know. We do not know for sure. And then finally, we end with a question. Mr. Pro of Crispy, is David Tennant in the 60th anniversary playing the 10th Doctor or the 14th Doctor?
That's an excellent question, Troy.
To give him some time to think about it, let's talk about the options right now, because there are some options.
There are.
There are rumours going around. First off, it's a flashback. It's 10th Doctor and Donna Noble flashing back to give context to something that's going to happen for the 60th and Ncuti Gatwa's arrival as the next Doctor. Don't think it's going to happen for several reasons. Why would David Tennant have a new costume, new Sonic, Jodie's TARDIS? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Too many inconsistencies.
So that one we're going to shoot out. But there's 2 other options that could go either way. First off, Jodie regenerates backwards into the 10th Doctor and some kind of degeneration goes back through Capaldi, Smith to Tennant for something. Something kind of happens and then Tennant solves a problem, shoots back, becomes Ncuti Gatwa. We don't know. Other option, David Tennant is playing the 14th Doctor and Ncuti Gatwa is playing the 15th. And before Crispy can give his opinion, there's a very big reason for this. Because every time they've announced a new Doctor, they've said this person is the 12th Doctor, this person is the 13th. Doctor Who magazine is the best place to go for that. If you look at the first issues of all the magazines, which Doctor Who magazine did share on the Twitter recently, so you can literally go back easily and look at them. For the new Jodie Whittaker one, it was like, Jodie Whittaker on becoming the 13th Doctor, with the shot of her in the grey overcoat from the reveal video. Peter Capaldi on being the 12th Doctor, blah, blah, blah. Ncuti Gatwa's cover just says, Ncuti Gatwa is the Doctor. The BBC press release from Doctor Who just says Ncuti Gatwa is the Doctor. At no point, and this might blow people's minds, I don't know if people haven't clocked this yet, but at no point in any of the press releases in any place have they actually linked the number 14 to Ncuti Gatwa. A lot of people have just jumped and done it immediately. So, Crispy, with that in mind, are you sticking... What was your previous answer, and do you still stick with it?
So I recently made a video on my channel doing the whole entire degeneration theory, because I feel like, I think what is going to happen, something is going to go wrong with the regeneration. Yes. It's just a question of whether are we going backwards or forwards. So my bet initially was going backwards, but since making that video, I filmed that video a while back, they did have the whole Doctor Who magazine thing come out, and I was kind of waiting, and a lot of people were waiting to see it. Are they going to attach a number? And they did not attach a number. So as time goes on, it's looking more and more likely that Ncuti will in fact be our 15th Doctor, and David Tennant will be the 14th. It's all very strange, but I like the idea of... Like I said it in my video, I like the idea of if they did go back, like we could kind of see like glimpses of Capaldi and Matt Smith as we go into like David Tennant again.
Yeah, we might well see like 60th anyway. You know,
who knows? Yeah,
they kind of did that with the 50th with previous Doctors, so I really like the idea. I mean, canon for numbers Doctors now is already out the window
anyway.
You know,
so
the War Doctor is technically the 9th, the 10th Doctor is technically the 11th and the 12th because the Journey's End Regeneration. Like, at no point is it going to be actually legit now. You know, where's what?
The Fugitive Doctor.
The Fugitive Doctor is the 0th Doctor.
The 0th.
My personal theory, we can do this in another episode, I think the Fugitive Doctor is the last pre-Hartnell incarnation that Joe Martin generates into William Hartnell. That's my theory. We can dust on that in another time. There's plenty of...
You've never told me that.
I've got logic for that. We'll do it in another episode, though, because actually I've got a solid explanation for it. However, and that's a little tease for everyone else, people going, oh, you know, if there's anyone else wondering, keep listening to the podcast. We'll talk about it in the future. Don't know which episode, but we'll get there. We will actually know. I know which one will be the centenary theories. We've got an episode coming up in a few episodes' time. We're going to talk our full centenary theories based on the trailer.
Heck yeah.
That'll probably be when I mention it then.
I've got a lot
when is that
to
currently
say
marked
too.
for? Should we tease it? We're currently planning that to be.
There's a lot of teasing
episode
happening in this episode.
So the episode after the series 2 one is currently planned to be our centenary theories. Obviously things could move around. They've moved around before, but that could be the theory. You know, you never know. That could be the thing we go for.
Let's go.
But yeah, so. Like, the numbers are out the window. So David Tennant playing the 14th is already, like, if you're going to say people are going to be, like, annoyed by the numbering, I mean, as Christopher Eccleston already argued it, can't get my words out, the fundamentalists are probably already annoyed by the introduction of John Hurt because it screws up the numbers, you know? But who cares
And
at
the
this
best
point?
Doctor of all time is Jodie Whittaker.
He did say that. Well, I mean, beautiful man. Beautiful man. Yeah, he said, the father of us all is William Hartnell, but the greatest Doctor is Jodie Whittaker. I mean...
Get that on a t-shirt, mate. Get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the numbering doesn't really matter too much at this point. You know, people will still say that Ncuti Gatwa is kind of the 14th Doctor, but they might call him the 15th. I don't really know how they'll market it. But genuinely, I'm just, like, excited to see what Russell does. You know, we could dive into more theories here, but I think we're going to leave it for a little bit now and see what else the news comes out. Because I think my personal bet is on Tennant being the 14th. You know, the second version of David Tennant's Doctor was technically only around for 6 episodes, from Journey's End through to End of Time. So there's been incarnations of the Doctor before that have only lasted a few episodes. Christopher Eccleston, unfortunately, proved that with having one series. So
yeah, literally.
They could easily spin it. Either way. We'll soon find out. But speaking of episodes and lengths of episodes and stuff like that, should we talk about the main chunk of our episode? It's already going to be longer than an hour. All I do is moan about the editing, and I'm sorry, it probably annoys people, but I do like to have it when it's an hour, because it's nicer. It's nicer, you know?
I don't think we're that far in. I don't think we're that far in.
I don't know when we started. That's the problem. I don't actually know what time. When did I send you the Morbius? When did I send you the Morbius GIF? 12:21. I think we're about half an hour in.
Yeah, right. That's all right. That's fine.
That's a lot of time for news and theories. Damn. Right. So what we're going to do is we want to read out audience responses for favourite episodes. So about 5 or 10 minutes at the end, we're going to do that. So let's have a kind of whistle-stop tour of our favourite episodes, talk about them in a bit of detail, and then we'll probably do another episode of this anyway, because we have to talk about all the news right now, and there's a lot of it with the set photos and stuff, so we kind of have to discuss
too much.
That.
I think it's
been a quiet week
though,
for news
which
beyond
is nice.
that, yeah. So maybe next week will be quieter, and we can kind of just dive more into Series 2, and it'll be good.
We can just enjoy ourselves.
And maybe some leftover set stuff. Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows? They'll probably announce Matt Smith now that we've said that. We're kind of like the bad precursor to this.
2 hearts plus bow tie. But yeah, so it's like what we said with favourite cliffhangers. We want to do another episode of that, and that'll probably happen again soon. That's not even in our plan up to episode 20, but we need to do another cliffhangers episode. We know it's going to happen. Maybe we'll slide it in and move things around like we've said. But let's talk about favourite episodes. So what I thought we'd do is we go Doctor to Doctor. So from Christopher Eccleston up to Jodie, as we've said before, our classic knowledge is just no good. And actually another episode in our plan is to watch Classic Who, so you guys can recommend us episodes.
So much teasing today, Troy.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of teasing. We'll ask in a bit for you to give us idea suggestions. Don't worry about that just yet. But we're not going to talk about the Ninth Doctor purely because we did that in the Series 1 episode. So as much as we don't tend to say, there's a chronological order, sometimes we are going to refer to previous episodes. Like how we say, watch episode 1, jump in wherever. We'll just say right now, my favourite episode of Series 1, Ninth Doctor favourite episode is Father's Day. I did a very passionate, almost speech about why that's the case. Kind of almost brought Crispy onto the same argument. You can go and watch it. And at the same time, Crispy, your pick was?
The Empty Child two-parter. Brilliant.
Which is just
brilliant,
phenomenal.
brilliant.
Really
absolutely
creepy, like
sensational.
Moffat horror aesthetic, great characters, introduction of Captain Jack, like just some fantastic stuff there.
And a great
really,
speech.
really, really fantastic stuff. Yeah, and a great speech.
Yeah.
Everybody Lives is just beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing.
Perfection.
So for more of that,
in my eyes.
you can watch the Series 1 video, the episode that we did, episode 11, looking back on Series 1. So go do it. What are you doing? Why are you still listening to this? Go and watch it right now. No, don't do that.
What are you
Finish
doing?
this.
No,
Finish
stay.
this. Finish this. Finish this.
Stay.
Thanks.
Sorry, we got a bit aggressive there, everyone. We need to
We did a
take
little
chill
bit, yeah.
pill.
But yeah, we're
Sorry.
passionate. We're passionate. Passionate podcast with a plan.
Passionate podcast with a plan.
Yeah. Alliteration.
Nice.
Yeah. The perfectly passionate podcast with a plan.
To the point.
To the point. The perfectly passionate podcast with a plan to the point. Done. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not going to try it.
Go on, try it. The perfectly passionate podcast with a plan to the point.
Perfectly passionate podcast with a plan to the point.
Bingo! There you go.
Woo!
Rolling off the tongue, baby.
Mum, I did
Already
it.
try it right
Mum,
now.
I did it.
Well, I'm gonna leave 5 seconds of silence in right now for you all to try it. Go on, try it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
That was actually pretty good.
Most of them did quite well.
Slight hesitation in the middle, but it's pretty good.
Literally, I'd laugh if no one did that, and everyone listening just like sat for the 5 second silence there and just went, okay.
Why am I listening to these guys?
So, 10th Doctor. Should we talk about 10th Doctor?
Yeah, let's do it.
Unfortunately, the illusion is slightly lost on me here because Crispy did tease an episode that was going to surprise me as like his favourite 10th Doctor episode. And unfortunately, as we've said, because we're recording this again, I no longer can act surprised by this. But Crispy, what is your favourite? Oh, okay. Crispy, lead us into 10th Doctor. Go for it.
So, this one might surprise you, Troy.
Really?
Yeah. It's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. But no, I'll be real. This one, as I've said to you before today, it has a lot of sentimental value to me. It is the Unicorn and the Wasp. Huh? Huh? Why that one, you say?
Genuinely.
Why that one, you say? So basically, as you know, Troy, when I started to rewatch Doctor Who, I watched things in a horrible order, especially Tennant's episodes.
You did.
One of my first Tennant episodes was The End of Time. So I
remember you saying that in the Redcast episode. Yeah, you said
ridiculous.
You borrowed some DVDs and one of them was The End of Time after the Lodger.
Yeah,
so bizarre,
shocking. But anyway,
very.
I used to rewatch a lot of David Tennant's with my sister, and we used to love a lot of Agatha Christie mysteries and your Poirot's, and we loved whodunits like your Midsummer Murders and stuff like that. So when we watched Unicorn and the Wasp, it was a stunning story. It was a beautiful story. And it was just like these worlds colliding. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's a great episode. I'm gonna hope that the audio came out well on that side, because I'm gonna be honest with you, that whole 20 seconds was just you lagging. I didn't hear a word of it.
I saw you go. I saw you go away.
So I know what he's saying anyway, because we've already discussed it. He loved his whodunits and his Midsummer Murders with his sister and all this. I do remember. This is proof that we re-recorded it. It's proof.
That's
it's
wild.
Proof. Literally, he went. So my sister would Midsummer having some internet issues, Last time he had to do the call on his phone, Australian internet, it's a bit upside down, it's a bit down under.
It's supposed to be good today.
There's a shrimp in his router.
Yeah, man.
The new version is a snake in my boot. There's a shrimp in my router. Oh my goodness.
There's a shrimp in my router.
Oh my Gideons. Oh, get the shrimp on the Barbie. Get it out of there. Come on, mate. But yes, so let's
what's yours,
talk
Troy?
about my favourite. Well, my favourite, Crispy. I kind of danced around in the previous recording, so I'm going to calm down hard on it now and nail it down.
Me 12 answers.
10 answers, you should have said. 10 answers would have been really good,
Damn, I'm not that funny, bro. I can't think that far
No,
ahead.
we know, but you have to at least try and pretend like you are. Do you know what? Sorry.
Next week, no. That's a good point. Next week, I can guarantee everyone should tune in. It's going to be the funniest, crispy content ever.
Well, it'll be funniest for me, and you know why?
Why?
Because it's the series that one of the best ongoing jokes this podcast originates from.
Oh,
How many times am I going to make the genuine article joke next week? How many times?
So if any of you have access to the drinking game, is that on the drinking game? It should be on the drinking game. the
It was
Absorb
episode
quote.
9. We talked about the drinking game. So the Sea Devils episode. We led with that to about the drinking game.
But yeah, regardless, next week, everyone tune in. It's going to be the funniest from both Troy and I, okay?
Yeah,
we're going to bring our A game,
It's gonna be great.
okay? I'm going to do some improv classes. It's going to be great.
So for the 10th Doctor, I've got a few episodes I would like to shout out, but I might leave it and then tease it for like another one, because there'll be some episodes we don't talk about here that you're going to go, how can you not talk about this? Believe me, we know a lot of your requests. We're going to read some of them out later, don't worry about it. But I'll give a special shout out to one of my favourites as a kid, and I won't explain it this time. I did explain it in the previous recording, but you see, we get to retake this, and we get to think, you know what, actually, no, we'll tease it instead.
Yeah.
One of my favourite episodes as a kid was the Lazarus Experiment. I won't go into any details, I'll just say that it was as a kid. And remember that best and favourite don't always mean the same thing, so it's not necessarily the best episode, but it was my favourite as a kid. Okay? When we get to looking back on Series 3, which you might get the impression, we're going to do one of these roughly every month. So next month, when we get on to talking about Series 3, I'll talk about that in more detail. So a special shout out to that. But me personally, just for the Avengers Infinity War level crossover of the Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, and Doctor Who, I've got to go for the Stolen Earth and Journey's End, because you have all these characters coming together, some from like the past 4 seasons, let alone 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And the way it ties the plot together, it brings back Davros. I mean, I was a kid who, again, didn't know much about Classic Who. I'd taken some trading card collections by that point, and I knew who Davros was. So when they started teasing him, I actually knew him despite not seeing him in any episodes. My mum was like, who's that? I was like, I know who it is. I was like getting dead giddy and excited, which was dead funny. But like just everything they did in that episode, and having seen all of Sarah Jane Adventures and possibly more of Torchwood than I should have done at my age, especially, you know, the blowfish that was high on sugar. It was
Sugar.
having a very big. It was riding a sugar high. That's definitely what we're talking about there. Definitely a sugar high. Yes, having seen probably more than that I should have, I was very excited to see all 3 shows come together, because it was a beautiful thing. It was a genuinely beautiful thing.
It is really cool.
And the plot is phenomenal. And if that had been David Tennant's final episode, it would have been one heck of a send-off note for him.
A lot of people
I still
thought
love
it
End
was
of Time.
going to be.
Yeah, especially in the UK, that week between the 2 episodes. Like, I remember Sylvester McCoy being pulled onto UK TV, being like, what do you think of this episode? He's like, oh, it's brilliant, you know? And like going, but isn't he near the end of his life now? Can't the Doctor only have 13 lives? And he said something, I think the quote was, oh, I'll wave his magic crystal ball of Om. That's what he said, which was very, very interesting.
Very Sylvester.
You know? Definitely something he has in the TARDIS somewhere, you know, a magic crystal ball of Om. I think we should get it out in the next series, you know? But just the hype around that, it's a fantastic episode, and it's definitely where I would sit as my fave for David Tennant. So,
Beautiful.
there you go.
Well put.
Beautiful.
Well
Thank
put.
you very much.
That was
You know,
really
I used to do a
nice.
bit of public speaking, Crispy. You know, I used to do a bit of public speaking. So I actually did. That's not a joke.
I've seen you do a bit of public singing.
Have you seen that video? You've seen that video?
You sent me a clip.
Did I send it you? Oh, I did send it you. I forgot I sent you that.
Yeah. I was very proud of you. It was awesome.
Oh,
Like genuinely,
thanks.
like not just for the podcast. Like that was, I was like, holy crap! Wow, this is good.
Aw.
So
Thank you
well
very
done.
much.
Oh, speaking of good things, do you want to hear my Matt Smith episode?
Very nice segue, Mr. Pro Crispy. Go for
Thanks,
it.
man. All right.
What's your favourite episode?
So this one was also a bit of a shocker to you. It might not be everyone's favorite, but I feel like it's pretty well respected in the community, I guess.
Yes.
It's The Impossible Astronaut. 100%.
Yeah. It kind of caught me off guard at first when you said it, but I the more we talked about it, I was like, oh no, yeah, that's fair.
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like, and I also gave you the context as to why specifically for me, because as you know, my first episode was the insanely good episode, The Lodger, starring my home / James
Corden Doctor.
Correct, the James Corden Doctor, after Shooty. So I started
really
with that one.
That campaign now. We're really starting that campaign.
We're starting early.
Sex education, more like sex educordon.
Oh my!
He's locking wow.
Is this scripted? Is this a scripted podcast?
Yeah, hang on, let me just get the script. It's behind this comic.
What?
It's behind the comic here.
Oh, what is that comic there?
I have to on display. I've just got it off eBay. It's a Doctor Who comic for Peter Capaldi, but they did it like a David Bowie album cover. And I saw it on eBay. It was only a couple of quid, and I went, I'm having that. That's beautiful.
That is stunning.
Very nice. So it's taking pride and place in my display for this episode. Nice. So video listeners who can't see this, audio listeners, sorry. Audio listeners, yeah, just imagine it. Imagine Peter Capaldi as David Bowie. I mean, it's probably not hard already. They're
it's
both
really
icons.
not that hard, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, Impossible Astronaut is brilliant. Yeah, so give us some more reasons. Why Impossible Astronaut?
As I was saying, so yeah, I started with The Lodger, and then I went to The Big Bang, the Pandora opens and then the Big Bang. And so I was like, what is this show? And then I went back and watched some Doctor Who. So this, like, the Series 6 opener, Impossible Astronaut, was the first time I watched it simulcast with everyone else in the world. And as a first-time Doctor Who fan, that was a really special moment for me. And the episode delivered, like, it has one of the best cliffhangers ever in Doctor Who. Like, it shook
almost
me.
a bit like soap opera with Amy being I'm pregnant.
Not necessarily. Okay, I forgot that was the actual cliffhanger. I meant the fact that the Doctor like dies. I meant the fact that the Doctor dies.
Bro, that happens in like the first 5 minutes. That's not a cliffhanger.
I mean, it sets up
It
this
is crazy.
series.
It's a whole
it's
crazy
an insane
thing.
setup,
Like,
I should
the Doctor's
say.
dead?
Yeah,
he's dead, mate. The Doctor's dead. What happened there? Who knows, mate?
And the Silence, I think, are insanely iconic villains and very, very clever.
Some of the best
and very
monsters
Moffat.
Doctor has ever produced.
So that will forever be one of my favorite. If this podcast was dedicated to like my favorite, it's probably that. I think I've seen The Impossible Astronaut at least 40 times.
Really? That's your favorite episode of the whole thing?
I reckon it probably is. I think
that's one thing I was going to do at the end. I was going to sneak it in. I was going to be like, right, you've given us all your favorite episodes. What's your favorite of each of like out of all of them? What would you pick? You've beat me to it. So there you go.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. It's that.
Fantastic.
100%.
I remember the articles in the news about Doctor Who creates a new hide behind sofa monster. They were like one of the first monsters that actually makes you want to hide behind your sofa in years.
Yeah.
And it was the Silence because they're creepy.
The Day of the Moon,
people.
the orphanage Day of the Moon scenes,
all of them hanging off the ceiling. Yeah,
that's genuinely like terrifying stuff.
It is. It's terrifying.
There's like blood on the walls saying like "help me" or something.
Moffat did like his scary stuff. It was a precursor to Dracula, you know.
Nice.
For me though, for Matt Smith, I don't know. And I think this was about the point where because we didn't get into Capaldi when we recorded this last time. This was about the point we interrupted. And I just I rattled off a bunch of Matt Smith episodes because the thing with me is when I watch Doctor Who, if I ever go to watch an episode, most likely it's going to be from the David Tennant era or the Jodie Whittaker or maybe Peter Capaldi. It can vary. I found Jodie's episodes actually, to be fair. I've been rewatching a few of those more recently, especially Flux. Just, you look nothing like Four Bears. Like, just John Bishop, I love John Bishop.
An excellent casting decision.
But for Matt Smith's era, I don't tend to rewatch a lot of his episodes individually. It's more I will watch them all as a big Doctor Who rewatch. I don't tend to pick out and go, I'm going to watch this Matt Smith episode today.
Okay.
So I don't think in my head, here's my favourite Matt Smith episode. It's hard. So I will pick out a couple and just kind of try and settle on one. Just a couple of standouts. The Doctor's Wife is phenomenal. Neil Gaiman is the top of his writing game.
Stunning.
That whole episode is just beautiful. Really, really well done. The Girl Who Waited is just like
brilliant.
That's probably my top pick purely because of the last 10-15 minutes. The whole idea of
I think we've talked about this on a separate podcast.
No, it was
episode.
the last recording and then we interrupted it.
No. It wasn't that. I swear we've had this discussion before.
See my funny joke?
Yeah, it was hilarious. But I swear you've mentioned that we were like watching the episode. You're like, oh, pretty good. But then you're like, the last 10 minutes completely sold me.
Yeah, because I remember it being one of my faves. And when I started watching it, I was like, this is really good.
That's what it was.
Don't quite remember it being like. I thought it was a little bit better, but it's the last 15 minutes where you kind of go. We can have both Amy's if I flip the magic switch and if I wave my magic crystal ball of them. And then, you see what I did there? Yeah, there's loads of see what I did there. There's loads of jokes today. We're very funny, guys.
So
We're very
funny.
Being on call with each other for over 3 hours is just clearly making us hysterical.
Yeah,
so,
it's
in more ways
funny
than one.
to us.
We're actually going crazy and we're being funny at the same time.
Correct.
Yeah. I can't believe you're actually going to go out and see your friends till after this at like whatever time it's going to be. It's like 10 o'clock for you gone. How are you?
It is stupid late, but that's okay.
Yeah. He's going to call in sick on from work tomorrow. I'm predicting it now. I'm waving my magic crystal ball of them and I'm seeing the future. That's not. Why is this becoming a running bit now? Let's not like.
I like it. Let's keep it for next week.
The prop in the corner next week is going to be a crystal ball. I'll buy a crystal ball. The closest thing I have is a.
Can you buy a crystal ball?
The closest thing I have is a fake Chaos Emerald I won in an arcade when I was a little kid.
That's pretty cool. I like how you can just whip that out. The
Chaos Emerald
of thin air.
I had it handy because I had nowhere to put it. I was dead enamored with it as a kid. It's on the video version right now. I'm holding it.
I can't whip out anything nearly as funny as that. I've got this. Can you read that?
How to Adult. Yeah, well, you clearly haven't read it.
I'm learning. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It was a perfect setup. I was waiting for something.
But yeah, so Girly Waste is phenomenal for the last 15 minutes of we can have both Amy's, and then it's no, you have to choose, and that whole set piece is phenomenal. Good Man Goes to War has a fantastic Matt Smith performance. The Colonel Runaway speech is brilliant.
So good.
I also love the ending of The Almost People. The Series 6 is like a constant pick for my Matt Smith performances, clearly. But it's even just the one line that does it for me. I love the Flash double-parter. It's a great two-parter. But it's the one thing he says to Rory, he's like, you have to trust me, I need to do this, and you need to stand away. And it's just like, chills. It's chills.
Stunning. That is a great
So I'm just going to say something there from Series 6. Day of the Doctor is obviously phenomenal. And there's obviously other episodes to pick out, maybe from Series 5, Vincent the Doctor, that kind of thing, that are like brilliant. And we can talk about them more in another episode of this. Like we said, we'll do another favourite episodes. But I'm going to go for The Girl Who Waited. I think because that moment, those last 15 minutes are brilliant. I'm going to lock that in as my final answer.
All right.
Lock it in, you know?
You have locked in The Girl Who Waited. And Troy, for $1 million, you are correct.
I'm rich! Let's go!
You're rich, baby!
Oh, brilliant. Speaking of The Girl Who Waited, I mean,
Yes.
we're two guys, but we're the guys who've waited over an hour to get to the Capaldi section because of the re-recording. So now we're entering fresh content! Things we haven't recorded already, ladies and gentlemen!
Let's do it. Let's do it. This is fresh.
I think we're probably like 50 minutes in already. This is going to be a long-ass episode, I'm telling you now, bro.
I reckon we're gonna cut it off. We're gonna cut it off. Don't worry.
Oh, right, so we're just not going to talk about Jodie. We're going to make all the whiny people online really happy. Is that what we're going to do?
No, we're not.
Good.
No, we're not.
Don't do that to me.
You are going to know. You're going to know what my Capaldi episode is. You're going to know.
Oh, am I going to know? It's going to be predictable.
It's predictable. I'm sorry. I rewatched it last night with my housemate, and oh my god, it is better than I remembered, and it's that good.
Go on.
It is Heaven Sent. All
Never
day.
heard that one. Is that one any good?
Every day. It's pretty good. It's got a pretty good IMDb rating. It's only like the third highest rated.
Forget the fact that there's a Heaven Sent poster on my wall up here. Like, yeah, forget that. It's just creeping there.
Forget
and then Dr. False there, which we'll get to in a second. Yeah, Heaven Sent is like tied with me as well. Being both kind of talking about this together, like just an hour of Capaldi, chewing up the scenery, Rachel's direction, and it says a lot that the Series 9 soundtrack, one disc of that 4-disc soundtrack, is just tracks composed for Heaven Sent.
And it's so good. Like, it is so... That soundtrack, because I have the Series 6 soundtrack, like, by itself. And I was like, oh, wow. They've dedicated, like, an entire
thing on
here.
Vinyl, or?
And so... No, the BBC sent me a little CD of it. Sorry, just to flex on you there.
And you meant Series 9, by the way, because you did say Series 6.
Oh, did I? Sorry,
I think you did.
On my mind.
Unless my hearing's
anyway,
gone, but yeah.
No, you're probably right. So I got the Series 9 CDs, and so I listened to it. And it is so good, and I was able to like pick up on that in the episode on my rewatch now because we just got a new like sound system in the house, and so I was like, it was just blaring, and it is beautiful, and yeah, Rachel's direction in that is some of the best, if not the best, I've seen in Doctor Who ever. That episode is stunning.
It is stunning.
What are you looking at?
I was having a little snoop just to look out of interest, but no, you cannot get the Series 9 soundtrack on vinyl. But I forgot to mention, as a little bit of news, the Series 1 and 2 soundtrack is being re-released. If you're interested in getting that on vinyl. You can get the black vinyl. I think it's on a few places. But if you are in the UK, I don't know if they ship nationally. Oh, there's a US option, so I think they might do US. If you've heard of Rough Trade, they're a big vinyl store. They have recently announced that you're going to be able to get the Series 1 and 2 soundtrack on orange vinyl. It's currently on pre-order. 2 LP pack for £32.99, which I might well get. Because that is a great soundtrack. I remember that was one we bought on CD and I would make my mum put on in the car constantly when we were driving. I used to get dead excited when the Aliens of London theme came on. Genuinely, I was such a... That's what I think about it, the way I love movie and TV soundtracks. Like, Multiverse of Madness' theme is like top of my on repeat right now. I started as a kid loving soundtracks. Because I remember making it put it on, and then every time Aliens of London's theme would come on, I'd just be like dun 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 dun, like every time. I think about it now. Yeah, I've been into soundtracks since I was a kid. It's kind of wild that. It's kind of wild.
Says a lot about you, mate. Says a lot about you. Your life is a movie,
What does it say about me?
Your life is a movie. Your life is a movie.
I thought in the end the guy gets the girl. Where's the girl, man?
It's not the end, bro. It's still the journey.
Yeah, good point. Actually, good point. Yeah. Well, let's hope he gets the girl a little bit earlier than Act 3, because that might be a bit late in the day, you know?
Act 3. We got a while till Act 3, mate.
I hope so.
That's all right. Well, I'm glad we can both agree on Heaven Sent, but what else did you think of Capaldi? You said you were tossing up. You said it was tied, I believe was your wording. You know,
some Doctors rise and fall, and some Doctors just fall, especially in their Series 10 finales, because we're old enough in time, the Doctor Falls competes in many ways. In some ways it's better, in some ways maybe it isn't quite as good. It does. It's difficult. I think we've had this discussion before. Had they not revealed John Sim, it might be a much easier distinction to make. But just the
100%.
concept of the spaceship where time moves faster at one end than the other, Capaldi at the top of his game, Missy, is she good, is she bad, John Sim, the Mondasian Cybermen, Bill becoming a Cyberman, Nardole being at the top of his game, to be fair. Like, I loved his performance in those 2 episodes. There's so much in there, and then the speech. It's the speech. 2 points in the Dr. Falls. The speech to Missy and the Master, where he said, I'm not doing this because I want to hurt someone, because I want to blame someone, because I want to beat someone. I do what I do because it's right, because it's decent, because it's kind. I could keep doing the speech if you want me to test my knowledge.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? That
was,
speech is amazing. And then also the scene of him blowing up all the Cybermen, shouting planet names, then him getting shot and then being like, doctors are not required. There's so many good bits that... No, forget it. Dr. Falls is better than Heaven Sent. I prefer it.
Yeah, you just convinced yourself. You've just convinced yourself.
Heaven Sent is amazing. Dr. Falls is probably going to be... I'm going to... Just to be different from you and just to back my own point up, I'm going to go Dr. Falls.
I love that.
Episode is just phenomenal.
Lock it in. Lock it in. Is that your final answer? That's
my final answer.
Yeah, right. Final answer. Lock it in. I've locked in the other one, and we're both correct. We're tied. So congratulations. We're both rich now. Woohoo.
So now we've talked about Capaldi. Let's talk about Jodie. From let's talk about... To the Yorkshire lass.
Yeah. Yeah, you start with this one. You start, because I don't know where you're going to go with this.
I've got a few options again.
Well,
sorry.
I have an idea.
Can you pick one episode?
You're a sucker for Flux. You love Flux way more than I do.
Yeah.
I love Flux, don't get me wrong, but you love Flux.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah. I've got a few picks. Have you got a specific episode? Because I want to do my few picks and settle on one.
I have
right,
one
you do
in
that.
mind.
That's probably better than letting me open a can of worms.
This one blew my mind, and I love it. And looking back, I don't know how to explain it. Okay, so I'll just say the episode, okay?
Go for it.
It's Jodie's first one, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I love
We're on
this
the
episode.
same wavelength, bro. We're on the same wavelength. That was going to be one of my picks. We'll get there in a minute.
Nice.
In fact, I'll give you a hot take right now before we go into it. Best Doctor opening episode of Modern Run, at least.
I feel like you've said that
before.
I've said it before,
but I'm reinforcing it because I know everyone loves the 11th hour, and it is phenomenal. I think it's the best jumping on point for Doctor Who as like a starting episode.
Damn.
I think it's beautifully done. It feels like New Era ones are the best ones. You've got Rose, you've got 11th hour, and you've got Woman Who Fell to Earth. They are, like, to me, the best opening season episodes, because you can't really count Tennant because he jumps on with the Christmas Invasion. It's not the start of a series.
Yeah, and it feels odd. And New Earth, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily jump on with New Earth.
But it's not like amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Got the trampoline coming back. But like, The Woman Who Fell to Earth is phenomenal. So what stands out for you for that episode?
Well, one, it was like an entirely new production team, and just from like a technical standpoint, they had the anamorphic lenses, and I think it's probably still to date one of... Sorry,
the anamorphic lenses, yes.
Yes.
I'm smoking my pipe as we say that. The anamorphic lenses.
God. Oh, I think... Look,
and also, the aspect ratio is different in these episodes, and it's very nice. The aspect ratio.
And we have 5 more minutes of screen time. They removed it from 45 minutes.
Why are we South African now? Where did that come from?
Because we got the anamorphic lenses, brother.
But I was being posh, my dear. I was saying the anamorphic lenses, dear.
Subscribe
I don't know why I'm making that noise. I sound like I'm like a cybermat or something. I don't know.
A cybermat.
Cybermat still made that noise. I don't know why that's where my brain went.
I don't know why. Anyway, so Woman Who Fell to Earth. I think
it probably hurts a lot.
She seemed to bounce up pretty fine. She seemed to bounce up pretty fine from the fall. I mean, it's quite a long fall. That's probably because of the regeneration, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Deus Ex Machina and all, you know?
Who cares? One, Jodie looks great in Capaldi's outfit, I'll say it.
She looks great in all of her outfits. She's one who's had like a bunch of great outfits, but she looks great in Capaldi's.
I'm not saying she doesn't
also,
look great in the other one.
I think disagrees because it just switched off.
I know, it has just switched off. It did well. It did well today.
And what's funny is it would have lasted the whole episode this time around.
I know.
Sorry, I'm going to stop interrupting you now.
No, you're all good. I just think The Woman Who Fell to Earth like sets up the new era in a very, very exciting way. And I feel like the soundtrack is very underappreciated. It is so cool. It's a really creepy episode. And, despite what some people say, I think that Tim Shaw is actually quite a fun villain.
Oh, he's a great villain.
I was mad. I mean, they did bring him back, but I don't think they did him justice in the Battle of Ranskot Avgalala. But I think
the Battle of Ranskot of Kellogg's.
I've just
thought of that now. Nice. Do you know what? I've just thought of that now. That's going to be why I always call episode now.
Let's Photoshop that. Let's
the Battle of
Photoshop
Ranskot
that. And he's like
Kellogg's.
on the front of the cover. He's on the front of the cereal box. Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
I don't know. I just think it's a really cool jumping on point. And I feel like it sets up a pretty exciting set. I don't know, because I feel like Series 11 for me kind of didn't necessarily deliver on what I thought the woman who fell to Earth was promising. Is that a weird take?
No, I don't think it is. I think it kind of dips in and out. I think it's because there's no returning monsters. I think, they've done that before, but I think it would have been nice to see her kind of deal with some more current monsters in the series. But I don't think there's a particularly a miss in that series. I think some of them just don't quite stand out as much.
Yeah.
Although I will say, interestingly enough, I recently bought the most recent version of Doctor Who magazine. I don't know why it took me so long to get hold of it. And I was really, really interested reading Chris Chibnall's full interview. And one thing he mentioned is that Ranskorav Kolos was a first draft. It was a first draft episode because during the Series 11 production, it was the only series they had a writer's room. They wanted one for 12 and 13. For 12, they couldn't plan it logistically. And for 13, COVID stopped it.
They
had a writer's room for Series 1, and he was helping out with a lot of other writers with how they were writing their episodes. And he found that he ended up running out of time and couldn't write another draft for Ranskor. So the one they filmed was the first draft. And he said, looking back on that, that's the thing I would have liked to have changed. I would have liked for that to have been slightly different.
Wow, so I did not know that at all.
Because it makes sense, because that's like, when people talk about their least favourite, their favourite episodes, Ranskor is quite low, especially the Jodie era.
It's probably my least favourite
one of the weakest finale, yeah. I know Wedding of River Song gets a lot of stick, but Ranskor is definitely weaker.
Yeah, no, I definitely prefer Wedding over that. Yeah, okay, wow. Well, that's a fun fact. I did not know that.
It's a fun fact. There you go. Read the magazine, Crispy.
I don't know how to read. So what is your favourite Whitaker episode?
That was such a subtle slide in. Yeah. That's why he's not read the adult book. There you go. The How to Adult. He can't read. He can't read. I've sent him a Morbius gift that he's been looking at for the last hour and he has no idea what it says. It's just Matt Smith topless dancing. It doesn't say anything above it. Woo! Yeah, it's great. But for me, for Jodie, like I said, there's a few picks. Woman Who Fell to Earth is one of them because I think it's a fantastic jumping on point for Doctor Who. I love that episode to bits. Beyond that, it's difficult. We all know how I feel about the Spyfall cliffhanger. But that's separate. I'm not sure about favourite episode there. Yeah. I just love that cliffhanger. I think Fugitive of the Jadoon, for the Fugitive Doctor, the shock of that, the Jadoon coming back, Captain Jack, that episode is probably the best one for me. I think that might be it. But I also have to give a special shout out to The Haunting of Villa Diodati, because that is brilliant.
Top tier.
And what was funny was, I mentioned this before, but that was at the time where I kind of wasn't really feeling Jodie's era as much, and I was going into episodes going, oh, this is a bit boring, because I was part of that, not part of it, but I was affected by that hate culture at the time. It tainted how I viewed the episode, and I really wish it hadn't done that, because my view of it would have been so much better afterwards. But when the Lone Sideman showed up, I was like, oh, here we go. So that's a great episode. And then also Village of the Angels from Flux and Revolution of the Daleks.
Standout.
That's kind of like a hand pick of a few of them, but I would go personally for Fugitive of the Jadoon, because I think that was the episode that everyone went, oh, what is going on here? They kept it all under wraps, And people have been criticising recently, going, oh, I love how we're getting more excited about Russell T Davies' era from a few set photos than we have for Chibnall's in years. That's because Chibnall was good at keeping things under wraps. And yeah, great, while it's not as good at generating buzz before the show comes out, you wouldn't get a Fugitive of the Jadoon level cliffhanger as easily, or story beat as easily with any other era, because Chibnall was good at keeping that stuff under wraps.
He absolutely was. If any showrunner was going to do the John Sim reveal well, it would have been
Chibnall. Yeah, absolutely. But then again, that was down to BBC and not Moffat. Moffat did say that wasn't his fault.
That is a very good. Yeah, I'm not going to hate on Moffat for that, but yeah, I can't. Yeah. Anyway, that we could.
And you got BBC friends. You can't annoy your BBC friends.
I was literally about to go in. I'm like, I can't say anything. But I think we should have an entire episode dedicated to the John Sim reveal.
I thought you were say bashing BBC's choices.
No.
Really, just get rid of your friendship with your friends in high places.
They send me soundtracks.
Oh, there you go. That's the thing. Send you the new vinyl soundtrack.
Yeah,
Series 1 and 2 done.
I'll hit them up.
But yeah, so that sums that up. So let's talk, summing it up, our favourite episode. So your favourite episode out of all those choices is
Impossible Astronaut, hands down. Impossible Astronaut, hands down. What is yours, Troy?
And for me, I would probably go Dr. Falls.
Nice. We want to shake on it?
Let's shake on it. Other hand. Oh wait, no, on camera. Yes, there we go. That hand will work. There we go.
Beautiful.
Shook on it.
Well done.
There we go. Beautiful.
Well done.
There we go.
Good for us. Very civilized.
Yeah, that's probably about an hour in the podcast, but we've got to read some fan responses. So, what we're going to do is pull some answers from Anchor. We asked you for 3 weeks continuously, because we are terrible at giving you other options, for some answers. So I'm going to pick a few out from each of the different weeks. So, our responses from episode 11, looking back on series 1. We've pinned all the answers, by the way, so you should be able to see all of these in the pin section of the respective episodes. So if your episode,
go and check
if
it
your
out.
pick is not mentioned, you'll still see it in the pin section. let's go for a few ones here. So, shall I just read them all out because I've got them up, Crispy?
Yeah,
or have you got them up as well?
Please do tell, and I'll say yay or nay if I agree, because my opinion's important.
Yeah, I'll pick out some different ones that kind of vary from us.
Please.
24 said the end of time due to the scale and acting, silence in the library/forest of the dead due to the atmosphere and sci-fi concepts, and heaven sent due to the acting and narrative structure. I like the options and the reasoning there.
I really like that. Well done.
Yeah.
There weren't any sources or references there, but I do appreciate the research you've done.
Nice one, Artie's own. Luca B gave me a really interesting one that I mentioned to you, and we were both kind of like, ooh. Who said, Resolution. It's just a perfect story that describes what Doctor Who is in general. A great sci-fi story mixed with themes of grief, trauma, and family, adding a bit of cringy humour, and bam, that's Doctor Who.
Well put. Really well put.
Yeah.
And I feel like, because that was the first episode of like a returning villain in the Whitaker era, right? Yeah.
That was very well done.
It's a very, it is. I'm a sucker for that episode. So yeah, I agree. Well put. I like that.
And we'll pick one more out. I think we'll go for, it's difficult. Maybe we'll go for a couple more. Alpha said the Bells of St. John and 11th Hour are my favourite episodes. Personally, I enjoy the episodes where they introduce new companions because they're so fun, and Clara and Amy are my favourite Docky Who companions.
Oh, nice wording. Excellent wording. 10 points to you. 10 points to you. Audio listeners, if in case you can't tell, Troy is just staring dead into the barrel of the camera. His lifeless eyes, and now he's shaking.
I wish it was
head.
a barrel of something else at this point.
Oh my god! Holy!
Don't know if I should keep that in. I don't know if I should keep that in.
Just bleep that.
No. Either we firm it or we get rid of it.
I don't care. I don't care at this point. Let's just do the thing. Bells of St.
John.
John.
Couldn't we? Maybe.
Yeah, we keep it in. No, we keep it in. We're a bit edgy.
I don't know.
We haven't sworn or anything.
Arthur Botley said the Series 9 Zygon 2-parter is incredibly underrated and is proof that Doctor Who has always been political, with the Zygons in the episode being an obvious parallel to terrorist groups of the time. Well said. The argument that Doctor Who is too political has always been a stupid one. It's obviously less subtle, I think, in the Chibnall era in places, but the argument that Doctor Who has never been political until Jodie is just rubbish. Like it is just rubbish.
Absolute rubbish. It's always like Doctor Who's one of those platforms where you can tell these stories and make little jabs at, what the world is like at the time, a little bit of a social commentary. It's not a bad thing. It's a bit of escapism and selling it in a different way. Anyway, we could have a whole episode of that.
Exactly. Let's move on to episode 12's responses. We're going to read one from episode 11 that links in very well. Someone by the name of Keith said in episode 11, I can't answer this question and you're cruel for asking it. But because we asked it again in week 12, he then said, fine, since you're forcing me to answer this question with a rapid projectile device aimed at my head. In fact, you know what? Yeah, I'll keep the barrel joking because he's done the same thing.
Nice.
He's put, I guess I'll say heaven sent. Good choice. Very good choice. Very good choice. Also, Mr. TARDIS, friend of the podcast.
Friend of the potty!
Classic, The Caves of Androzani, agreeing with Dominic last week, intriguingly enough. From the modern era, Midnight.
Great episode.
Very, very
great
good
episode. Well done. Well done, everyone.
Sheila Morris said, bit late, but classic City of Death. You're not a bit late, don't worry about it. Classic is City of Death at the moment, and new pretty much all of Series 3. I hope that means you're not excluding Lazarus Experiment, because I'll be very upset with you. Lazarus Experiment is phenomenal.
Surely not.
Thank you. No, it's not one of the best episodes, but I love it personally, so And we got one response in episode 13, because I think by this point everyone who wants to answer was going to. Fair enough. What is that username? Hustwaiterjack? Hustwaiterjack? I don't know how to... I hope I'm saying that right. Has put, the Doctor falls, I'm going to try that again. The Doctor falls, it encapsulates what I want the Doctor to be. Kind. Very well said.
That is beautiful.
So thank you for all your responses. Wow. It's beautiful.
That's great.
It's beautiful. So that's going to wrap up the episode. Don't forget you got the Q&A down below and a poll you can answer to interact with next week's episode for Series 2's Look Back. For episode 15 of this podcast, 15th episode, also the number that the Doctor's going to be for Ncuti Gatwa. See what I did there?
Yeah, 15th
nice.
Doctor.
Yeah.
And then the episode afterwards is the James Corden episode.
Corden! Well, let's go! Yeah! So thank you all very much for listening to this episode of Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. You are liking the video on YouTube if you're watching there. You're following on Spotify. You're rating 5 stars on any platform you can. If it's Spotify, Apple, I don't know which ones let you rate 5 stars, please do. But you can listen now. 5. Remember, you can watch on YouTube, watch on Spotify, listen on Spotify, listen on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Deezer. And Stitcher.
Nice.
Whole bunch of options. So get
Too
going,
many.
get listening. You know what you should do? Open it on every single audio platform and play them all at the same time. So you're giving us loads of views, but you're still listening to it just the once.
Wow.
Beautiful plan. You know,
Wow.
that's huge brain. Huge brain.
That's
But we're going
big
to wrap
brain.
it up here. Crispy, how would you like
Yeah.
to end this episode? Have you got like a closing statement for us?
Yes, I do. I do have one for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, as Troy said earlier, there is a difference between best and favorite, okay? So let's respect everyone's favorite episodes because, as a lot of people have said, Doctor Who is for everyone. And so I wish you all a good night, sleep well, and don't let the bed bugs bite. Amen.
I really thought you were going to go to a joke there and be like, you know, everyone's opinion's respected unless you went for the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe or something. Like, I really thought you were going to slide something in there. But that was really wholesome.
You know, it was a little bit wholesome. If I were to make that joke, it wouldn't be the Doctor Widow and the Wardrobe. It'd be Fear Her, mate.
No, yeah.
It'd be
Fear Her,
absolutely
yeah,
be Fear Her.
Well,
which we will talk about next week, won't we?
Fear the next episode of the podcast because we'll be talking about it then.
Nice.
This might be the best podcast episode for jokes. I'm not going to lie to you.
We're on fire.
I'm on fire.
All right, I'm out.
All right, cool. See you all next week. Bye.
Alon Z, baby.
That was a great just like dead chill outro.
Yeah.
Sticking with it. Forget it. All right, thank you all for listening. Much appreciated. And we'll see you all soon. Peace.
Bye.